this is going to be bittersweet. This is going to be a little sad at times, but we want to also make it hopeful because we have a lot of beautiful mothers here that we are celebrating, and we have a lot of beautiful mothers from the past that we do celebrate their lives as well. And Palestinian mothers will only want you to celebrate because that's how they do things. I know my grandmother was one of those people. When my uncle passed away, God rest his soul, the youngest uncle, my daughter's birthday was literally a week later. She said, bring her cake, have a little party for her, because sadness is in the heart. You don't show it to other people, it stays within. And you know what? She has been solid. My grandma is the most solid woman you would have ever met. God rest her soul. All right, so I really can't wish you all a happy Mother's Day, but I will wish you prayers on Mother's Day, and I wish my family and friends and my people in Gaza and Palestine and all over the world prayers on Mother's Day. So we are going to start today with a prayer by my dear friends Asma and Catherine, who are the co-founders of Rhode Island Community Khair, a mental health community organization providing culturally competent direct services and support to the Muslim and Muslim adjacent communities. They have been up front and center fighting for our Palestinians, brothers and sisters in Gaza. Please join us. Welcome them.
Assalamualaikum. Hello everyone. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
In the name of Allah, most merciful, most gracious.
Ya Allah, Ya Ali, Ya Azim, Ya Halim, Ya Alim. Anta Rabbi wa ilmuka hasbi, fa ni'ma Rabbi Rabbi, wa ni'mal hasbu hasbi. تنصر من تشاء وأنت العزيز الرحيم.
O Allah, O High, O Great, O Clement, O All-Knowing, you are... Whoops.
Yeah, you got it.
Oh, it's here.
You are my... You are my Lord, and your knowledge is my sufficiency. How perfect then is my Lord, how perfect my sufficiency. You give victory to whom you will, and you are Almighty, the merciful.
نسألك الإسمة في الحركات والسكنات والكلمات والإرادات والخطرات من الشكوك والظنون والأوهام ساترة للقلوب عن مطالعة الغيوب.
We ask your protection in movements and rests, in words and desires and thoughts, from the doubts, suppositions, and fancies that veil hearts from beholding things unseen.
فقد ابتلي المؤمنون وزلزلوا زلزالا شديدا وإذ يقول المنافقون والذين في قلوبهم مرض ما وعدنا الله ورسوله إلا غرورا.
For the believers have been tried and mightily shaken, and lo, the hypocrites and those with sickness in their hearts say, Allah and His Messenger have promised us nothing but delusion.
فثبتنا وانصرنا وسخر لنا هذا البحر كما سخرت البحر لموسى وسخرت النار لإبراهيم وسخرت الجبال والحديد لداود وسخرت الريح والشياطين والجن لسليمان.
So make us steadfast, give us victory, and subject us the sea, as you subjected the sea to Moses, the fire to Abraham, the mountains and iron to David, the winds and demons and jinn to Solomon.
وسخر لنا كل بحر جهره وهو لك في الأرض والسماء والملك والملكوت وبحر الدنيا وبحر الآخرة وسخر لنا كل شيء يا من بيده ملكوت كل شيء.
Subject us to everything you possess in the earth and the sky, the kingdom and the dominion, the sea of this life and the sea of the life to come. Subject us to everything, O Yin, whose hand and dominion is everything.
كافها يا عين صاد انصرنا فإنك خير الناصرين وافتح لنا فإنك خير الفاتحين واغفر لنا فإنك خير الغافرين وارحمنا فإنك خير الراحمين وارزقنا فإنك خير الرازقين واهدنا ونجينا من القوم الظالمين.
Give us victory, for you are the best who give victory. Clear our vision, for you are the best who clears vision. Forgive us, for you are the best of forgivers. Have mercy on us, for you are the best of the merciful. Give us sustenance, for you are the best of providers. Guide us and save us from the wrongdoing folks.
وهب لنا ريحا طيبة كما هي في علمك وانشرها علينا من خزائن رحمتك واحملنا بها حمل الكرامات مع السلامة والعافية في الدين والدنيا والآخرة إنك على كل شيء قدير.
Give us a goodly wind, as may be in your knowledge. Loose it upon us from the storehouses of your mercy and carry us upon it in honor, with safety and well-being in our religion, in our life in this world and the world to come. Truly you have power over all things.
اللهم يسر لنا أمورنا مع الراحة لقلوبنا وأبداننا والسلامة والعافية بديننا ودنيانا وكن لنا صاحبا في سفرنا وخليفة في أهلنا واتمس على وجوه أعدائنا وامسخهم على مكانتهم ولا يستطيعون مضي ولا مجيء إلينا.
O Allah, give us ease in our affairs with peace for our hearts and bodies and safety and well-being in our worldly life and our religion. Be our companions in our travels and keep watch over our families and our state. Blot out the faces of our enemies and fix them where they stand so they can neither move nor reach us.
ولو نشاء لتمسنا على أعينهم فاستبقوا الصراط فأنى يبصرون ولو نشاء لمسخناهم على مكانتهم فما استطاعوا مضيا ولا يرجعون.
Had we willed, we would have blotted out their eyes and they would race to the path, but how should they see? Or had we willed, we should have fixed them where they stood so they neither could go forward nor return.
ياسين والقرآن الحكيم إنك لمن المرسلين على صراط مستقيم تنزيل العزيز الرحيم لتنذر قوما ما أنذر آباؤهم فهم غافلون لقد حق القول على أكثرهم فهم لا يؤمنون إنا جعلنا في أعناقهم أغلالا فهي إلى الأذقان فهم مقمحون وجعلنا من بين أيديهم سدا ومن خلفهم سدا فأغشيناهم فهم لا يبصرون.
Yasin, by the wise Quran, truly you are of the messengers upon a straight path. This is a revelation of the Almighty, the Merciful, that you might warn a people whose forefathers here were not warned. So heed not. Already has sentence been passed against most of them, so they believe not. Verily we have placed shackles on their necks and even up to their chins, so they bend not. And we have placed a barrier between them and a barrier behind them and enshrouded them, so they see not.
شاهت الوجوه
Disfigured be those faces.
وعنت الوجوه للحي القيوم وقد خاب من حمل ظلما.
And faces shall be humbled before the eternal living, the all-sustaining, while whoever bears wrongdoing shall have failed.
طاسين حميم عين سين قاف مرج البحرين يلتقيان بينهما برزخ لا يبغيان.
He has loosed the two seas, they come together, but between them is a barrier they do not cross.
حميم هم الأمر وجاء النصر فعلينا لا ينصرون.
The matter is done, the victory come, against us they shall not be helped.
حميم تنزيل الكتاب من الله العزيز الحكيم غافر الذنب وقابل التوب شديد العقاب ذي الطول لا إله إلا هو إليه المصير.
Hamim, the revelation of the book from Allah, the Almighty, the All-Knowing, forgiver of sins, acceptor of repentance, terrible in punishment, infinite in bounty. No God is there but He, unto Him is the final becoming.
بسم الله بابنا
Bismillah is our door.
تبارك حيتاننا
Tabaraka our walls.
ياسين سقفنا
Yasin our roof.
حميم عين سين قاف حمايتنا
Kaf, Ha, Ya, Ain, Sad, our sufficiency.
فسيكفيكهم الله وهو السميع العليم.
Ha, Mim, Ain, Sin, Kaf, our protection.
ستر العرش مسبول علينا وعين الله ناظرة إلينا بحول الله لا يقدر علينا.
The veil of the throne has dropped over us. The eye of Allah is gazing upon us, and by the power of Allah, none shall overcome us.
والله من ورائهم محيط بل هو قرآن مجيد في لوح محفوظ.
And Allah encompasses them from behind. Nay, it is a noble recitation in a guarded tablet.
فالله خير حافظا وهو أرحم الراحمين.
For Allah is best as protector, and He is the most merciful of the merciful.
إن ولي الله الذي نزل الكتاب وهو يتولى الصالحين.
Verily, Allah is my patron, He who revealed down the books, and He looks after the righteous.
حسبي الله لا إله إلا هو عليه توكلت وهو رب العرش العظيم.
Allah is my sufficiency, there is no God but He, on Him I rely, and He is the Lord of the Almighty throne.
بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء وهو السميع العليم.
In the name of Allah, against whose name nothing can cause harm in the earth nor the sky, and He is all-hearing, the all-knowing.
أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق.
I seek refuge in the perfect words of Allah from the evil of that which has been created.
ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم.
There is no power and no strength save by Allah, the High, the Great.
وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم.
And may Allah bless our Master Muhammad and his family and his companions and grant them peace.
آمين.
Thank you so much, sisters. Let's pick it up a notch. How about a chant?
Come on, louder. We want a
It's
chant.
3 o'clock. I want enthusiasm. All right.
Thank you.
Cookie time.
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine.
Free, free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine.
Free, free, free Palestine!
Come on, what is this? I can't hear you guys. Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine.
Free, free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine.
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine.
Free, free, free Palestine!
And Gaza is under attack. What do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
What do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
What do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
And mothers are under attack. What do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
What do we do?
Stand up,
number one. Jude is my joy, and I can only imagine our mothers in Gaza losing their joy. It is unimaginable what these women have gone through. So mothers are the heart and soul of this world. Many of us, including our next speaker, have been displaced, live in the U.S., and she's a mother, a wonderful mother. Dania is a mother, an educator who has a powerful voice in our community, who is a prominent member of the uncommitted movement. Woo! Give it up to our friend here.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining us today on Mother's Day. I want to start by saying Assalamu alaikum. Right, this is the greeting, the universal greeting in Islam, which means peace be upon you. And it is the way I want to begin today because that is what we are here gathered for, right? It's the demand for freedom, liberation, and peace for all of our brothers and sisters in Gaza, in Palestine, and everywhere else in the world where they stand oppressed.
That's right.
I'm particularly grateful for our organizers today for gathering us on our celebration of Mother's Day here in the U.S. to think about our comrades, our solidarity with Gaza. And that's because as we watch and hear the reports coming out of Rafah, it's hard not to be struck by how central women and children are to the oppression and the occupation that has been taking place there.
Yeah.
Rafah has been, I think, rightfully described as a playground full of children. Any clip that comes from there, you can hear the voices of children shouting, laughing, playing, as children find a way to do in all circumstances. As we hear reports from the only remaining maternity hospital, as we hear reports from the only remaining maternity hospital in all of Gaza about mothers that are too skinny to be bringing a child to full term, about babies that are emerging too small to be full term because they have been deliberately starved of food. I was so heartened to see that food was included in this gathering because we know, right? We know from our mothers who always make sure to feed us that food is the connective tissue. It doesn't just feed our bodies, it feeds our souls and it feeds our communities. And yet that very basic, fundamental function, right, that a mother will serve, that a mother will fulfill for her children, Gazan women today are deprived of being able to do for their children. Shame. It is not just a brutality, a physical brutality that is and will continue to result in deaths and is and will continue to result in weakening the health of the population.
I want to try this because they can't hear you.
Okay.
Sorry.
Sister, put that on the speaker. Put the megaphone on the speaker.
Like double up? No, we can turn up the volume, but that's not a
No, like the voice from the speaker goes through that.
maybe.
Yes.
I don't know.
How is this? No. How is this?
Put the microphone in front of this.
We can try. Sorry, guys.
I can try to yell too. Okay. All right.
And you guys can come closer.
Yeah.
Come closer.
Come in.
Come closer. We need, we can get more people here. Please.
Okay. How's that? All right. So I'll say again, Salaam alaikum. And let's commit to our demand for peace
That's right.
and freedom, liberation.
That's right. all over. And when we gather again and strengthen our bonds through food downstairs in a few minutes, let's remember that our Gazan mothers are deprived of their ability to fulfill that basic function for their children and for their communities. In Islam, as in really all cultures and religions, motherhood is venerated, even above fatherhood. Your mother is owed, for Muslims, your mother is owed your first and your second and your third outpouring of affection, love, and attention, right? Yeah. 3 duties before we even get to your dad. Yeah. Right? The mother is thought of as the first teacher, right? For her children, but also that means for society. So what is it that mothers symbolize in our cultures and societies that makes it such a classic and universal venerated status? We tend to celebrate it as individuals here in the U.S. We go to our moms and we do something as a family. But what makes motherhood such a universally beloved status is that motherhood is bringing into being the next generation of a society. Yeah. And it only begins with the birthing, right? Because motherhood is nurturing, and it's sustenance, and it's work, and it's care. Right? All of these things that help to build a future for the society, the culture, the families, the people in a place, right? Mothers, in that sense, are building our future. Mothers, as teachers, are helping to determine what type of future we bring out. So when 70% of Palestinians targeted and killed in this brutal occupation and military onslaught in the last 7 months have been women and children, what more evidence do we need that this is an attack on the future of the Palestinians? That this is an attempt to murder the Palestinian future. Shame! Shame! It is enough, these reports out of Rafah, the reports the last 7 months, the death, the destruction, it is enough to despair. And yet, we all continue to learn from the mothers of Gaza, from their children, from their brothers, from their husbands, from their fathers. We are learning from Gazans about sumud, about steadfastness, about perseverance and faith in the face of calamity. In the face of an enemy seeking to demolish and bury your future, we are learning about committing to life. I'm reminded of the words of Palestinian poet and activist Rafif Ziadeh. Words she wrote all the way back in 2008 while the bombs were raining down on Gaza already, right? And not the first time. She was serving as a spokeswoman for a Palestinian organizing committee, and in the midst of over 1,000 dead Gazans, in the midst of the falling bombs and of mothers and fathers unable to protect their children from the terror, a reporter asked her, wouldn't it all be resolved? Wouldn't it all be better if you stopped teaching your children hate? Shame! Shame! And she replied with the patience, the moral clarity, and the focus that really only one facing such destruction and clear wrong could. She simply said, "We teach life, sir." That's right! That's right! She then wrote it into a poem. We teach life after they have occupied the last sky, after they have built their settlements and apartheid walls. And she continued to say, they ask us, just give us a human story. Tell me a story so I can help you, help them see you as human.
This is not a political story, they tell her. And she answers, we teach life, sir. We Palestinians wake up every morning to teach the rest of the world life, sir. As Americans living in the country that is an architect, a funder, a supplier of Israeli apartheid and genocide, we too must teach our society and our government life. Even before October last year, watching the war-hungry leadership in the Biden administration and in both parties in Congress, I kept thinking, I want out of this death cult. I want out of it.
Yes.
Our government wants to enrich us and enrich itself, its membership, and maintain the country's dominance in the world by wreaking death and destruction for civilians around the world. In Syria, in Yemen, in Ukraine, just to name a few, and most acutely and most intensely in Gaza right now and in the Palestinian territories and across Israel. Even as U.S. citizens cry out for life, agree that they want peace, in supermajorities want peace, in supermajorities want U.S. power and dollars spent on schools, the future, want U.S. dollars spent on hospitals, centers of care, and want U.S. dollars and power spent on roads and bridges, the infrastructure that connects us to each other. All of these mothering tasks, all of these mothering functions, our leaders continue to choose death. Shame! Our Senator Reid, shame. Chair of the Armed Services Committee,
Shame on him.
likes to pretend that he seeks to limit civilian harm
He doesn't care.
while leaving U.S. death and destruction while lauding and praising U.S. death and destruction in Iraq as a model of moderation. Biden and his Secretary of State Blinken just weeks ago signed off on the destruction of every university in Gaza, on the deliberate targeting and destruction of almost every hospital, on the destruction of the vast majority of civilian housing, on the famine conditions imposed deliberately by the U.S. and Israel together. They signed off and they said, this does not violate U.S. law. So it is incumbent upon us to follow the model that Gazans have set for us. We must teach life. We must demand that they stop, the U.S. this is, our government, our representatives, stop fomenting and funding death in Gaza and around the world, and instead support Gazans and Americans in our thirst and quest for life.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Daniel. We really appreciate it.
Jack Reed. I didn't want to make this political, but Jack Reed is the scum of the earth.
That's right. Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
You realize he has not allowed one of us, one person, one constituent to speak to him? Shame on him!
Genocide Jack.
Shame on him! Jack Reed needs to get out of office, and you know how? Let's vote him out! Let's do a quick chant, everyone! Let's get our blood running!
Okay. Genocide Jack, hands blood red, fund our cities and schools instead.
Genocide Jack, hands blood red, fund our cities and schools instead.
Genocide Jack, hands blood red, fund our cities and schools instead.
Genocide Jack, hands blood red, fund our cities and schools instead.
Genocide Jack, hands blood red, fund our cities and schools instead.
Genocide Jack, hands blood red, fund our cities and schools instead.
Woo! Give it up for yourselves.
Thank you, Jude. Next, we invited this beautiful Palestinian mother educator who has become a friend and obviously ally of this movement. Give it up to Neda, please. Thank you. Thank you. First people.
Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Neda. I am a teacher and a writer and a mother to 3. Woo. I will, don't worry. Okay, just opening up my little piece. Okay. You guys ready?
Yes, we're ready.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
The word for land in Arabic is ard. It is a multifaceted word that means ground, territory, earth, soil, region, state, country. The land knows I will listen, even when I'm not sure how. It senses my deepest longing to feel held by land is embedded multiple generations below my surface. It is a quickening, a vibration. It is almost a shout when I walk down Chase Street a few blocks from our apartment. I look up and notice the historical plaque on an old farmhouse seemingly out of place surrounded by newer raised ranches. The plaque names the Buffum Chase family. I was familiar with the name as Elizabeth Buffum Chase was a 19th century Rhode Island reformer. Okay.
We'll just move the mic closer.
All right. So Elizabeth Buffum Chase was a 19th century Rhode Island reformer. Is that better? Who advocated for women's right to vote. Her statue is now in the Rhode Island State House. But before that, she was a radical abolitionist. She was born a Quaker, but eventually left her community because they were not radical enough in their position on abolition. She believed in immediate abolition in a time when most people wanted a gradual change. She used her home in Valley Falls as a stop on the Underground Railroad. She raised her children to hide runaway enslaved folks and talk to their school friends about why they should also be abolitionists. She organized anti-slavery speaker events, often offering up her house for boarding visitors. Her home was also a stop on the Underground Railroad, even in the height of the Fugitive Slave Law in 1850, which made it punishable for aiding escaped enslaved people. Her children were well versed on how they must behave if authorities came around or carried the parents to prison. I learned that while Elizabeth birthed 10 children, the first 5 of them died of various causes. There was a moment when she literally went from being a mother of 5 to being completely childless before starting a second family, birthing her last child at age 45. I linger in this moment with her, imagining how it must have felt for her to go from being an active mother with a home brimming with the hustle and bustle of several children to suddenly inhabiting a childless silence. I hold her haunting reality in my heart tenderly, like one delicately cradles a newborn soft skull, or like how one clings to the shrouded body of your once whole child months ago, brimming with life. We are now over 200 days into this genocide in Palestine.
Shame.
Over 200 days of childhoods taken, of families experiencing horrific deaths.
Shame.
Information on Elizabeth's personal life is difficult to carry, but much like the news on the genocide, I can't look away. Even by 19th century standards, when childhood death was common, Chase's burden of grief was staggering. What I am learning from Elizabeth and from Palestinians on the ground is that what do we do with this grief? It is doubtless that personal tragedy makes us more malleable. Elizabeth believed her personal tragedies drew her closer to the suffering of female slaves who lost their offspring to ruthless slave traders under unspeakable conditions. The more I hold space for another's grief, the more I emphasize with another's struggle, despite time or place, ultimately making more space for my own ever-expanding grief. The land offers me Elizabeth's story as a blueprint for my own. As her mountain of personal grief rose, Elizabeth pursued the anti-slavery cause more fervently as it helped her find meaning in life. Interestingly, she came to terms with her children's death by writing about them and kept a mothering journal for the public. For example, she conveyed the moment her son George's death at 9 years old in excruciating detail as a way to honor his life and give death purpose. While recalling his final moments, she writes, "I stood over him and wiped the cold damps from his face and drew the wet pillow often from beneath his head." She continues with, "I asked him if he was willing to go now. He said he did, and I asked, 'God will take care of thee, will not?' And he said yes." Have Palestinians not been doing the very same thing, creating art, writing, and posting on social media as a way to honor life and grieve, all while submitting their faith and trust to an all-seeing God? Palestinians share over and over again glimpses of their heart-wrenching grief with the outside world, resilience in the face of dire conditions and impending death, if only for the sake of bearing witness, of taking up space. After all, isn't the desire to make meaning from chaos the most defining human trait we all share? Biographer Elizabeth Stevens writes about how Elizabeth's refining grief set her apart from the everyday world, rendered her less and less concerned about what others thought and more empowered to follow the dictates of her own conscience. I can't help but find parallels with Palestinians in Gaza recording videos in English, their second language, intentionally to honor the lives of the dead with the hopes of giving those deaths meaning, while asking for the world to notice and take action. Even separated by time, I feel as though my conscience vibrates at the same frequency as Elizabeth, because as this genocide reaches horrific peaks, I also find myself less concerned about the frail sensibility of others while feeling more empowered to follow the dictates of my own conscience. It is not just grief, but also motherhood that connects me with Elizabeth, because once you've passed through the physical, emotional, and spiritual portals of motherhood, you can easily imagine every child as your child. Yep. As James Baldwin writes, the children are always ours, every single one of them, all over the globe. That's right. I can't help but agree with Baldwin. This Mother's Day, we are at a crossroads. The land, with its layers of hope and despair, is asking, what will we do with our grief? How will we take action? How will we listen to the dictates of our own conscience? What we do now will send ripples through time and space. Let's choose wisely. After all, our children are listening. Yep!
Thank you, Dan. Neda, Habibti, thank you so much. We appreciate you. You know, I've said this before. When I look at people, people are all humans. So I see elderly as my parents, grandparents, mothers are, I think of me, I think of my children. So I hope that we can, I know everyone here is here because you regard Palestinian children as yours. You regard mothers of Gaza as your own. You regard the death and destruction as ours. What we need to know is how do we transfer these feelings feelings to the people that are careless, emotionless, and don't understand. That's what we need to do. So we need to speak and speak and speak and teach and show our culture and show our music and show our art, because that's, everybody will learn differently. Some people will learn from poetry, others from music, some from art, and some you just need to chant with, right?
Okay. So this entire time we were doing pretty basic chants, right? So now we're gonna level it up. And we're going to Arabic now. We're going to Arabic. Okay. Are you guys ready? Yes. من المية للمية. من المية للمية. فلسطين عربية. فلسطين عربية. من المية للمية. من المية للمية. فلسطين عربية. فلسطين عربية. من المية للمية. من المية للمية. فلسطين عربية. فلسطين عربية. Give it up for yourselves. You guys are amazing. You guys know
I guess they're going to be ready for the next language, right? Thank you all. You guys have been very patient. We still have a few speakers left, but we had so many people reach out that want to share. So I know that it may feel long, but we have so many people that love Palestinian moms and want to share. So our next speaker is one very prominent member of our Muslim community. Brother Abdul Latif has been up front since day one, guiding our way to the truth. And give it up to Brother Abdul Latif. You have been amazing to us.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Alhamdulillah, all praise is due to Allah, creator of the heavens and the earth, who has given us the opportunity to come here today to express ourselves, to stand up for this great effort, to show the state of Rhode Island, the politicians of Rhode Island, where we stand. We stand with the mothers. We stand with the children of Palestine. We stand with all the oppressed people of the earth.
Yes.
We, the people of goodness, the people of truth, the people who want goodness and freedom for the whole world, not just us. Not just us. The other day I was talking about this characteristic of the human being. It's called the nafs, the lower self. It includes, it loves oppression, it loves hatred, it loves only itself, it loves destruction, it loves jealousy. So many characteristics. It loves to kill. It doesn't care who they harm. And the worst of it is the lower self of Satan. What is the lower self of Satan? Satan, God told him that he is going to the hellfire. He won't go to paradise. Satan doesn't care if he goes to paradise or not. He doesn't care if he's destined to the hellfire. As long as no one else goes to paradise, he's happy. So the people with this type of characteristic, they don't care about anyone else. They don't care if they don't care about anyone else. They don't care if God is pleased with them or not. They want to possess and usurp everything on this earth by hook or crook. They don't care. So, in terms of, I just want to tell you a story about, during the life of the Prophet Muhammad, about mothers, the importance of mothers. Once he was going on an expedition with his companions, and he stopped at a barren place. This land is very old land. like no life there. He got off his horse, he got off his riding animal, got down and made two rakats. He prayed, and then he started moving his head as if he was talking to someone. Then what happened? He started to cry. Profusely, he started to cry. So much. How was he crying? You know when someone cries like that, it's something is heavy. And he's crying like this. And you can hear the air coming out of his chest. So one of the companions, there were thousands of companions around him. One of them said to him, "Oh, Prophet of Allah, my yubkik, oh, Prophet of Allah, what is making you cry?" He said, "This is the grave of my mother. This is the grave of my mother." How old is the Prophet? He's 50-something years old. When did she die? 50 years before. She died when he was 6 years old. Right? And he still remembered his mother 50 years later.
Takbir!
So when he was 6 years old, his mother had taken him on a journey to see his family, or to visit the grave of his father. Because his father died before he was born. But his mother also ended up dying. When she was about to die, she had a companion. Her name was Ayman Baraka, a woman from Ethiopia. She looked at her. She said, "Al-an anta ummu." Now you are his mother. She said to the woman, "You are his mother." Right? Because she knows she's dying. Right? So when she died, the Prophet Muhammad, when he was 6 years old, he got on top of his mother's body, holding her neck, and started crying. It reminds me of the pictures of these young Palestinian children. So many of these news excerpts we have seen on TV when the children lying on top of their mother's body, lying on top of their parents' bodies, crying. And so the Prophet ﷺ was crying, and he looked at the woman too. He says, "Ummah, oh my mother, you are now my mother." So 50 years later, the Prophet ﷺ never forgot his mother, and he's crying. And some people they try to say, "Oh, they try to make Islam so harsh. Or when someone dies, you shouldn't cry." We get our examples, brothers and sisters, from the example of the Prophet ﷺ. We are not robots. We are not robots. Our hearts, we are human beings. Those who don't have concern for someone who dies, who don't have concern for what's going on in Palestine, they don't have a heart.
Yep.
They don't have a heart. The heart is dead.
Yep.
And the hearts are hardened, and this is one of the characteristics of the lower self. The hearts are hardened.
Yep.
And there's, some, and the Quran gives us an example of certain rocks. Certain rocks, there's life inside. Certain rocks, if you split it open, you'll find little bugs, water flowing through it. But there are some rocks, when you open it, it's dead. And this is the example of the hearts of those people in Israel who don't care what they're doing. They are killing the women, killing the children, killing innocent people. These are the hearts of the people of Israel. These are the hearts of the people of the government of America, the government of the world. But not our hearts. Not the hearts of the Muslims. Not the hearts of our Christian brothers and sisters. Not the hearts. This is not the hearts of our Jewish brothers and sisters. We are on the right path.
That's right.
We are on the right way. ولا تهنوا ولا تحزنوا وأنتم الأعلون. God says, ولا تهنوا ولا تحزنوا. Do not lose faith and do not become saddened. You are on the right way. You are on the right path. Keep moving. Keep talking. Keep marching. Keep writing. Keep crying. Keep praying.
Allahu Akbar. Jazakallah khair, brother Abdul Latif. Thank you so much for always being out here for us. So next up, we were supposed to have a little intermission with a little song that my beautiful friends created for us. But we have a sister that has little kids that are being very antsy. So they're just she's gonna speak. Sister Zainab, you're still here? Yes. Sister Zainab has gracefully come to speak today. Sister Zainab has a BS degree in computer science and a Rhode Island mom of two who spends her free time in community outreach efforts, writing works focused on nuances of religion and history. Thank you so much for being out here.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. May peace and blessings be upon each and every one of you here today. I first and foremost like to thank Rhode Island Community Care, the Jewish Voice for Peace, PSL Rhode Island, and Palestinian Diaspora United for gathering us all here today. They all definitely deserve that round of applause and more. Today, as I'm sure I don't have to tell anyone, is May 12th, 2024. It has been exactly 218 days since the daily onslaught of Palestinians began by an occupation hell-bent on nothing short of genocide. 218 days, 35,402 murders, over 25,000 tons of explosives, and over 15,000 children massacred right in front of our eyes. And that's not including the countless still under the rubble and those that without a doubt were slain from the second I stood up here to the 30 or so seconds that have since passed. Now I hope you'll bear with me. As you heard, I'm a computer scientist major, and algorithms and numbers are sort of how I make sense of the world. At risk of never being invited to speak again, despite the odds I mentioned, we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna do math. And hopefully this will all give you some perspective. America, the place many of us call home, spans 3,809,526 square miles. Gaza, in comparison, is a measly 142 square miles and has, or well, maybe I should say had, a population of about 2.3 million. It is one of the most densely populated regions in the world and 27,017 times smaller than America, having about the same land area as Las Vegas, roughly. The bridge that we're standing on right now is 11,250 square feet in area. If we had 10, that's right, 10 of these bridges laid side by side and considered that the whole of America, then Gaza would be no bigger than this piece of cardboard I'm about to show you. As you can see, it can barely even hold space for me. Now, just think back to a couple of months ago when Israel pushed about half of Gaza's population onto Rafah. The population soared from 275,000 to over 1 million, according to NPR. Only for Rafah to become the next and current target. To believe that any of this is not a carefully orchestrated ploy for the destruction of a people deemed subhuman is delusion at its finest.
That's right.
That's right, yep.
If you ask me, though, I've learned, bear with me, over the past 6 months, that it can actually be hard to see the Palestinians as ourselves, as humans. And I explain that by first, before anyone else, speaking to the children of Gaza. We see them every day through a screen, some no older than 7 or 8, standing over their dying siblings, urging them to say, La ilaha illallah, to declare their faith even in death. 7 years old. Who taught you that? We see the boy without legs, comforting his father, saying, stay strong, O Father, alhamdulillah, all praise to the Lord. This land is ours and we are not going anywhere. An 8-year-old, a 9-year-old, and just I look at that and I think, how? How did you manage those words as a child? Oh, children of Gaza, you've shown us that age is but a number, and old men in big white houses and black suits can turn this world upside down while you are the one holding it all together. Woo!
Yeah.
And then there's the men, the fathers and brothers who at behest of their own lives pull out bodies from underneath the rubble and scour the land, however dangerous it may be, for whatever little food is left. You've shown us what it means to truly love and sacrifice for not only our families, but for complete strangers. To the doctors, nurses, and paramedics in Gaza, the humanitarian workers and the surgeons, you stayed in hospitals refusing to leave your patient's bedside long after everyone had evacuated. You've put the Hippocratic Oath to shame, taking us to new standards of care and devotion that we as a country that values profit over healthcare can only dream of. To the journalists who had to bury their families, only to show up to work the very next day to tell the world, it is my duty to lay bare the atrocities we're enduring, day in and day out. Yeah. You've shown us that we will not fall victim to stagnation and apathy. No. And now, this one's hard. To the women of Gaza, the sisters and the mothers. The mothers. I struggle to speak to you the most. Where do I even begin? You had to stretch yourselves, you stretched your bodies for civilizations, had your insides cut open in makeshift tents for future generations, only to come across what any other people would call ruins. But instead of despairing, you said with a conviction I can only dream of having, Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil. Sufficient for us is Allah, and He is the best disposer of affairs. You've shown us the best of humanity. You've shown us that the billions of dollars in arsenals of weaponry are nothing in the eyes of your spirit, which can never be killed. And that is precisely why you and all of Palestine can never lose. Everyone keeps asking us, what can we do for the people of Gaza? And don't get me wrong, it's an essential question. But we forget to see everything Gaza has done for us. You don't need to believe in God to realize that these are the best of us, the best of people, and so I thank you. I thank you, Gaza. You didn't ask for any of this, and you shouldn't have had to teach us lessons we should have learned long ago from our history of genocide and enslavement, but regardless, you have. And so now, I would like to end by speaking to all of you, my fellow brothers and sisters, listening to me here today. You've watched all of this unfold now for over 6 months, day after day. You are residing in what is arguably the most powerful country in the world. And it is a country that is, and always has been, on the wrong side of liberation. Shame. Shame. I challenge you, I challenge each and every single one of you here today to not only see but feel what that means. Do not let yourselves fall into cynicism, because that is nothing more than a form of obedience. That is nothing more than what they want. Dreaming is dangerous to those who benefit from our hopelessness and despair. And if the Palestinians have taught us anything, it is that the only thing you should be a prisoner of is hope. Moral apathy is not an option, not now, not ever. We cannot afford it. Because whatever is happening to humanity, whatever has happened, happens to all of us, no matter how far off the screams may be, no matter how they try to hide the cruelty by turning off the electricity or turning off the internet. This is happening to us all. And if you are silent about your pain, our pain, if you think one speech, one social media post, or one donation won't make a difference, then they'll come after you and your history next, and they'll say you enjoyed it. In a society so deeply delusional and reliant on the willful amnesia when it comes to native genocide, when it comes to slavery and injustice, we cannot sit on the sidelines and have our children and grandchildren live in a world where our history was written for us. Yep. It is only and only through collective resistance that we can keep our stories alive and tell our children about the Hall of Him Rajab at Columbia University. The commitment to Brown University's divestment vote and the countless marches on Washington and all across the nation, all across the world, which will only continue to grow, not only in size, but also success. I can feel it in my bones now more than ever, that the tide is turning and a free Palestine is within our grasp. Everyone asks, what is the future of Gaza? There are no hospitals left, there are no universities, but I say, my brothers and sisters, that you are asking the wrong question. The Palestinians, as we've already made clear, cannot be defeated. Ask what is the future of the genocidal and Zionist regime, with the veil of the world finally lifting. To them I say your weaponry and billions in aid mean nothing now that everyone knows you are truly, morally, and spiritually bankrupt.
That's right!
You may call me a fool, go ahead. But I will continue to say, Alhamdulillah, all praise to the Lord. And I will continue to resist and even smile with optimism. Despite everything, it is what the Palestinians have taught me. It is what they've taught us all. And I'd like to end by showing you this seemingly flimsy piece of cardboard once again. Look at how small it is. If this small piece of cardboard, so to speak, was able to change the course of America and effectively the whole world in just a couple of months, then, well, all there's left to ask is, what are you waiting for? Thank you.
Thank you, Zainab. Thank you so much. Thank you for all the emotion. I guess we needed to cry. I told you we were going to cry today. Anyhow, let's get a little bit of an uplift. We have a group of wonderful people, where are they, that are going to be sharing with us. Let me tell you what it is that they will be sharing with us. So, it is called the Tarwida. It's a sacred Palestinian folklore that has been passed on through generations and generations of occupation. It's an art form that is rooted in both our oppression and fight for freedom. Songs that embody both our heartbreak and resilience, a secret language that was created by the very heart and soul of the resistance, Palestinian women. Encrypted messages that were used to help our fathers, brothers, sons, and husbands who were unjustly and wrongfully imprisoned escape from the occupiers, and means to communicate secret messages of hope, love, and freedom to our courageous men. A modern day gentle reminder that we are the Intifada. We are the revolution, just as our beloved ancestors once were and still are. There you go. Thank you, Ali. Please introduce yourself because...
Yeah, sorry. My name's Ali.
Jackie.
Monique. We're really grateful to be here. We wanted to share Tarwida because it really is a tradition of the Palestinian matriarchs, that act of resistance of keeping hope for loved ones wrongfully imprisoned. So towards what the last speaker shared so eloquently, we're going to raise our voices together in collective resistance. So if you turn to the side of the sheet, and if you don't have one, try to share with a friend, try to find someone. We're going to go through the melody twice just to get a handle of it, and we'll sing that on law. And then we're going to start singing. There's 4 verses. We'll sing them a couple times together. Just feel it out. We're gonna be a beautiful cacophony of resistance here. So,
Mama.
All right. So it's an 8 count. I'll count us in for 4, and then we're gonna start on la. La 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 Let's do that one more time on la. Beautiful. So that's the melody, and we're gonna sing through the 4 verses together. I'll count in for a count of 4, and then we'll start. So let's get the beat first. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we go. Shami lila liya, we lila li, shami lila liya, we lilo. Hadi lila liya, kolo la tifta, shami lila liya, we lilo. Mani lila la la mahai lili li shani lila liya, we lilo. Yase la we dar we le la 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 we la waya we lilo. We're gonna do it again. Here we go. Chem. Shani lila liya, we lila li, shani lila liya, we lilo. Ali lila li pa, kolo la dikta, shani lila liya, we lilo. Wani lila la hatma hai lili li, shani lila liya, we lilo. Yase lila we dar we le la 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 we lila waya we lilo.
So this is another one we're going to do together. It's called the Ancestor Song. It's gone through multiple different iterations. So we're going to do a call and response of teaching it, and then we'll do it all together, and we'll do it in a round. It'll be super fun. Okay. So I'm going to sing a line, and then you sing it back to me. I hear the voice of my ancestors calling.
I hear the voice of my ancestors calling.
I hear the voice of my ancestors call.
I hear the voice of my ancestors call.
Again. I hear the voice of my ancestors calling.
I hear the voice of my ancestors calling.
I hear the voice of my ancestors call.
I hear the voice of my ancestors call.
Singing, wake up, child.
Singing, wake up, child.
Wake up, child.
Wake up, child.
Oh, I mistaked you. I mistook you. Okay. Let me just sing the whole line through. We'll do it all together. Okay. Singing, wake up, child. Wake up.
Wake up, child. Wake up.
Listen. So go, wake up, child. Wake up. Listen. Okay. So let's sing it all together, once through, and then we'll split into groups, and it'll be really fun. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I hear the voice of my ancestors calling. I hear the voice of my ancestors call. I hear the voice of my ancestors calling. I hear the voice of my ancestors call. Singing, wake up, child, wake up, listen, 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 listen. Singing, wake up, child, wake up, listen, 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 listen.
Again from the top.
I hear the voice of my ancestors calling. I hear the voice of my ancestors call. I hear the voice of my ancestors calling. I hear the voice of my ancestors calling. Singing, wake up, child, wake up, listen, 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 listen. Singing, wake up, child, wake up, listen, 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 listen.
Okay, so now here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna split us horizontally. So if you're here over, you're group 1, and then here over, your group 2. Group 1, group 2. Yeah. And group 1, you're gonna start on I Hear the Voice, and then group 2, you're gonna start on Wake Up. So we're gonna sing it once through all together, and then group 1 will start on I Hear the Voice, and group 2 will start on Wake Up. You will survive, it'll be amazing. So all together, I Hear the Voice, and then I'll tell you when to split.
I hear the voice of my ancestors calling. I hear the voice of my ancestors call. I hear the voice of my ancestors calling. I hear the voice of my ancestors.
All together, wake up.
Singing, wake up, child, wake up, listen, 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 listen. Singing, wake up, child, wake up.
All right, group 1, I Hear the Voice.
Listen, listen. Wake up, son, wake up, listen. I hear the voice of my ancestors calling. Wake up, child, wake up, listen. I hear the voice of my ancestors calling. 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 Wake up, son, wake up, listen. I hear the voice of my ancestors calling. Wake up, son, wake up, listen. I hear the voice of my ancestors calling. I hear the voice of my ancestors calling. I hear the voice of my ancestors calling. Wake up, son, my ancestors calling. Listen, I hear the voice of my ancestors calling. Wake up, son, my ancestors calling. I hear the voice of my ancestors calling. I hear the voice of my ancestors calling. I hear the
All together, I Hear the Voice, loud.
I hear the voice of my ancestors calling. 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 Singing, wake up, child, wake up, listen, 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 listen. Singing, wake up, child, wake up, listen, listen, listen.
Wake up again.
Singing, wake up, child, wake up, listen, 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 listen.
Last one.
Singing, wake up, child, wake up, listen, 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 listen.
I love this song. I don't know about you. And the Taruida is one of my favorite things. When I read about it, and I mean, Palestinian women have always been part of a movement, you know? They are a movement. And look at the movement that we've created here in the U.S. This movement has been led by women in general. So powerful. And now I'm gonna give it up to a beautiful young lady who's gonna say a little poem about Palestinian moms. This is my daughter, Farah, by the way.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I am her daughter, if you didn't know. My name is Farah. I'm the president of Students for Justice in Palestine at Rhode Island College. I didn't want to say something today because it's not my day. It's a Palestinian Mother's Day, and we need to honor them. So I found a poem by Ni'ma Hassan from 2021 talking about the mothers in Gaza. This is 2021, not now. It goes to show how long Palestinian mothers and the situation in Gaza has been going on. So it's called In Gaza, a mother never sleeps. In Gaza, a mother never sleeps. She listens to the dark, searches its edges, sorts out sounds, sound by sound, to select a suitable story to read her kids to sleep. When they sleep, she stands up to shield them from death. A mother in Gaza does not cry. She folds up fear, rage, and prayers in her lungs and waits for the hum of warplanes to fade, then exhales. A mother in Gaza is not like other mothers. She bakes bread with her own eyes' salt. She feeds her children to the homeland. That is a mother in Gaza. This poem, as I said, 2021. I can only imagine the amount of poems that are going to come out about Palestinian mothers now. But what I will say is, a Palestinian mother truly does not sleep in Gaza. She either worries about how she's going to feed her children or how she's going to feed herself to survive for her children, or how she's going to take care of her children because her husband was killed, or her brother was killed, or her son was killed. That's the reality of a Palestinian mother. And the pregnant Palestinian mothers are just focusing on how they are going to survive, how they are not going to be too skinny to give birth to their child. They have to worry about sexual violence by the Israeli occupation forces. This is a mother in Gaza, and we're not allowing this to happen. Are we? No. That's why we're standing here today. We honor the mothers in Gaza, the ones who have lost their lives, the ones who have lost their children, their families, their husbands, their parents. They have no support, but we are going to be their support from afar, right? Thank you all for coming out. Jazakallah khair. Thank you.
Thank you, Farah. It's about time. We need a male, right? We need a guy.
No, you don't.
Brother Mahmoud is a Palestinian who lives in the diaspora. He's a friend, a writer, and an educator who will tell us who the Palestinian women are to him.
Thank you, Lee. Thank you, everybody, for showing up today. I'm sorry, I have papers. I can't do anything without a woman, you see? You know? I want to apologize in advance if I got a bit emotional, but who can not be emotional? Today, we meet each other on Mother's Day. I want you all to close your eyes for a moment of silence in the remembrance of every one of the 6,000 mothers who have died in Gaza in just the past 7 months. Please join me. Thank you. My name is Mahmoud, and I'm Palestinian. Yes! And just because I'm Palestinian, I have only met my friend, my companion, my mother, just 3 times in the past 10 years. I repeat, just because we were born Palestinians, my mother and I have met 3 times in 10 years. Imagine the basic privilege of saying hi to your mama in person is a thing I can't enjoy today. Just because we were born Palestinians. Just 6 weeks ago, my mother had a life-threatening surgery. And she's still in the hospital recovering, alone. And it's difficult for me to reach her in person, to touch her forehead and kiss her soft cheeks, just because we were born Palestinians. Okay, some of us woke up on October 7th, afraid that a genocide was about to unfold in Palestine. I'm very sorry to say to everyone thought so that you were mistaken. Because for those of us who were born Palestinian, we know that a genocide really started in 1948. Not 2023. Even before the declaration of the independent state of Israel on May 15th, 1948, 76 years ago, this week, by the way, Zionist militia had already initiated the ethnic cleansing and genocide of the indigenous people of Palestine. What I'm trying to say here is that this genocide, this Nakba, is ongoing, and that it didn't start on October 7th.
That's right.
It started long before.
That's right. That's right.
And in my case, all the pain I endured in my life from the moment I was born stateless in a refugee camp to this Mother's Day when my mother is sick and I can't easily just see her. This all is rooted in the ethnic cleansing and the genocide that forced my family out of their homes 76 years ago. It's the same case for the millions of Palestinians scattered across the world since the displacement and massacre of our grandparents during our first Nakba in 1948, ripping families apart and leaving wounds that cut through generations. Since we are gathered on Mother's Day, I want all of you to think about the Palestinian mothers who have left their children as orphans through 76 years. Not just on October 7th. No. Since 76 years. Tens of thousands of Palestinian children were orphaned. The Palestinian mothers who enduring displacement after displacement struggle just to breastfeed their babies. Just to breastfeed their babies. Just because they are Palestinians. The Palestinian mothers who were forced to give birth in the dehumanizing conditions of refugee camps through another Nakba and another and another. I'm sorry.
Give it up!
all the 76 years of ongoing Nakba that Palestinian mothers have endured has been distilled for Palestinian mother through the past 7 months of genocide in Gaza. The world abandoned Palestinian mothers for 76 years. And the world is now doing the same in an even more horrific, heartless way. Shame! We cannot tolerate this shit. We cannot tolerate over 6,000 mothers being violently killed through bombardment, starvation, and disease just because they are Palestinians. Shame! We cannot tolerate 20,000 children orphaned in just 7 months. 20,000 children orphaned in just 7 months. Collecting the torn pieces, collecting literally the torn pieces of their mothers and brothers' bodies. Shame! Just because they are Palestinians. Shame! We cannot tolerate it. But while we should hang our heads in shame, they must, people there must hold their heads up high, for they are standing unshielded but steadfast, Samidin, against one of the worst war machines in the world.
That's right.
And because of that, I want you to repeat with me. Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry!
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 You must hold your head up high!
You must hold your head up high!
Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry!
Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry!
You must hold your head up high!
You must hold your head up high!
Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry!
Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry!
You must hold your head up high!
You must hold your head up high!
One more. Mother of Gaza, don't you cry!
Mother of Gaza, don't you cry!
You must hold your heads up high!